think that was probably the first love letter I wrote to myself, giving myself permission to embrace who I am on the inside rather than looking at the chaos on the outside. I was, that greeting card that says stand in serenity. That's where that comes from. There could be chaos on the outside. It could look chaotic on the outside. It could look like, oh, that girl going through it on the outside. But for me at that time on the inside, that was the definition of contentment for me. Hello family, it's Elora coming at you with another delightful insight. Thank you so much for joining me on Elorasong, where we are focused on exposing joy in the journey. Today I'm going to do something slightly different, and that is about to be a poem. Today I woke up kind of funky, right? And I know why. I just need to be reminded of my past, and I need to be reminded of where I've come from and how far God has brought me. So I came to that conclusion only because I sat around and prayed. I sat down and listened, meditated, and I was going to come with a different topic, but it was placed in my heart to share this poem with you, and in turn it will reawaken some things for me. Coming from my book, Quiet Accumulation, Poetry, Spiritual Promise, and the poem is entitled Spiritual Retreat. And I haven't read it yet, so be patient with me. I know that I'm in an emotional place for several reasons, but I just need to read this. I'm going to share it with you, and I hope that you enjoy it. Here we go. Spiritual Retreat. Hold on. Before we start, what I'm going to say is that this was a poem that was written during my days of homelessness. And when I say that, I mean that I was living in my truck. I had different places I was bouncing around to at the time. That when I say that, I mean there were strangers and friends that were allowing me to stay in their homes at different times of my life. So some places I stayed for a few months, some places I stayed for a couple weeks, but I didn't have a place to call my own for 2 years. And what I was doing was sleeping on the couches, mattresses, air mattresses. There was one lady that had a couple of daughters, and I didn't know her very well. Her name is Susan. She lives in Houston. And during that time, what she did was offer her home to me. And in turn, her daughter said, hey mama, she could stay in my room. And I stayed with them for a few months. And when I say that was an experience in itself. But anyway, this poem in particular was written when I was staying at Red Roof Inn in Corpus Christi, Texas, room 118. I won't ever forget that. At the time, I was doing a lot of writing. I was going through my journals, rereading journals, and I decided I'm going to put it all in a book. That's what I did. Wow. I'm walking this with y'all, okay? I did not come prepared for this. So while I was in that hotel room, I had a specific business suit just for these interviews that I was going to go on, because I was still in search of a job. You'll probably wonder, well, how did you stay in a hotel? Well, at the time, I was also going to school. I was attending college. Thank goodness for VA benefits, and that's how I was doing that. So I was paying for the hotel through VA benefits while also attending school, but not paying any of my other bills, right? I mean, I was literally looking outside every other day to see if my truck was still outside, and if there's gonna be, what's the word, you know what I'm talking about, when you get your truck because you ain't paid your bills. So, it was that kind of time in my life when I was just like, I just know I deserve better, I can do better. And it wasn't because I was a bad person or doing anything horrible. It was just one of those consequences after I decided to pursue sobriety. And Like I tell people all the time, I didn't face the consequences of my decisions with drinking or my alcoholism, or also known as alcohol alcohol use disorder. I could be saying that wrong, but anyway, I call it alcoholism. There's another term for it now, but you get the gist. But anyway, the point is, I faced my consequences of my drinking almost, I'm gonna say a few months after I stopped. So I stopped drinking May 29th of 2007. By July 20th of 2007, that's when things started changing. So anyway, back to the poem. So the poem is called Spiritual Retreat. I wrote this at Red Roof Inn, room 118, Corpus Christi, Texas. And I'm about to read it with you guys. And I haven't read it in a very long time. So here we go. Spiritual Retreat. Gracing the motel in which I live, tapping into the gift of verb existence. Door bolted shut, window covers drawn, television off, lights on. This may be difficult for others to conceive. No outside influence, hindrance, or communicative need. Truth is, I am in good company. This is not conceit, a new way of living. Free to conserve time and energy as I please. Reading, writing, prayer, and meditation serving as my companions, providing upliftment and elevated state of comprehension. No debate of right or wrong, no cause or condition. No reason to mention isolation. Being with self requires no explanation. Embracing individual beneath the skin. Healing. Uncomfortable at first, surrendering all inhibitions. Later laughing at such a disturbance. Sirens chime in my mind, perceptions others may have due to the secluded time. Blossoming beauty within responds, pay them no mind, your time is mine. We hug, hope, live, laugh, and cry, gaining intuitive insight with spirit as our guide. Given permission to rest when emotions run high, we examine our composition in amazement, from visible hair strands to base of our feet, texture of skin, pulsating beat. Learning to love little one, brilliant discovery in and of itself. Refuse to bury, hatch, deny an uncommon wealth. I remember not having a lot, but being so content at that time. I was really learning to love who I am. And that was a love letter. I think that was probably the first love letter I wrote to myself, giving myself permission to embrace who I am on the inside rather than looking at the chaos on the outside. I was, that greeting card that says stand in serenity. That's where that comes from. There could be chaos on the outside. It could look chaotic on the outside. It could look like, oh, that girl going through it on the outside. But for me at that time on the inside, that was the definition of contentment for me. That's what that was. And there are a few people in my life that saw me there. They saw what I was going through. They saw me doing my best to do better for myself. Not only in sobriety, but just in learning to love myself and embrace all that I am. And that required patience. That required not looking at what was in front of me. That required faith. Okay. So this may have, I don't know. I hope this poem served as some type of encouragement to you. That has definitely allowed me to revisit a place of joy and contentment in my life, even when it didn't look like it on the outside. And y'all like, probably, I mean, look, y'all probably think, but where are you now? Well, you know, when I wrote this poem, it was 2000. So I started sobriety May 2007. This poem was written in, I can't remember the month. I'll have to look at my journals. But it was written in, moved back to Corpus. So it was 2009. That poem was written, and I could still see myself in that room writing that poem. And afterwards, I went and looked at myself in the mirror and smiled. Bare skin and all, I just smiled. And these are tears of joy, y'all. I'm just grateful for how far I've come. And I'm looking forward to where I'm going. That's all. So I'm glad I'm able to revisit that day today with you. Ooh-wee. It's a special place. It's a special place in my life. So anyway, thank you so much for joining me today. Wow. My desire is that you experience happiness, joy, prosperity, abundance, and all things freely given by God. And most of all, love. Love. And if you can, encourage someone today, whether it be a smile, a head nod, or a phone call, a random email, random text, just to let them know that you appreciate them, you're thinking of them. So until next time, know I love y'all. Ciao for now.